Hi, and welcome to this lecture about game objects and components. Game objects are the building blocks of Unity. Think of it like Lego blocks. You can have a very basic block, and you keep connecting different blocks to it until you have created a completely new shape. Every object in the hierarchy is a game object. The camera, directional light, all are game objects. Unity created some standard game objects that perform specific tasks to make game development easier, like the camera, which renders the scene, and the lights, and different types of game objects. For example, if we right click on the hierarchy, then you go to 3D object, you can find primitive game objects that you can create, like cube, sphere, capsule, cylinder, plane, quad, also effects, particle system, trail, line, particle system, force field, lights, different types of lights, audio source and audio reverb zone, video player, camera, and so on. For now we are going to create a 3D object, cube. We click on cube. You will notice that a cube has been added to the hierarchy. You can see it here. Also, you can see it in the scene view and in the game view, because the camera sees this cube. If you look at the inspector, you will see a lot of properties and fields that came up. The first one is the transform. Transform is the position or where this object is in the 3D world. Now, the first one is the position. You can adjust it to move the object. And second one is the rotation. You can rotate around x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. Scale, you can scale it along the x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. The cube is visible because it has a shape, which is a cube mesh. This mesh filter is the physical shape of the game object. If you click, you can find different types of meshes. These are the standard meshes that come with Unity, like cube, capsule, cylinder. Now we will stick with cube. Mesh renderer is the component that allows the mesh to be rendered to the camera. If we disable the mesh renderer, the cube will disappear. This green box is the box collider. This is another component related to physics. If we disable it, now it will be disabled. Any components can be added and removed. To remove a component, you need to click on the three dots here or here, and the component that you want to remove, and then click remove component. The component will be removed. Now I will re-enable the mesh renderer. If you want to add a component, you need to click on add component, and there are many types of components you can add, like audio listener, audio source, audio reverb zone, effects, particle system, visual effects, halo, layout, mesh. Since we already have mesh filter and mesh renderer, we cannot add another mesh filter or mesh renderer. If you try to add, it will give you an error message. Physics, different types of colliders and rigid body, UI elements, video, or you can create another component, a completely new component by a script. We will talk later about scripts and visual scripting. Game objects have hierarchy of their own. Like the cube, for example, is a parent because it doesn't have it's a top level, not a parent, because it doesn't have any components that are parents to it. We can create, for example, another game object like a sphere, and we will drag it and drop it on top of cube. Now the sphere will become the child of a cube. If you move the cube, so does the sphere. Sphere can be moved separately, related to or relative to its parent. Then again, when you move the cube, it will move the sphere along with it. Sphere also can have a child. You can create, for example, a cylinder. Let's just resize. Now if you move the sphere, the cylinder will move with it, and if you move the cube, both the sphere and the cylinder will move with it. So that's it for the game objects and components. In the next lecture we will be talking about the package manager and the asset store. See you then.